It is a sight we're used to seeing, people lining up for their vaccine at the Alamodome. However, today's a little different. Not everyone has an appointment, and why some folks chose to stick it out in lines today to get their shot.
Some other folks paired up with a furry friend to get through the past year, and shelters noticed the difference with more puppies and cats finding new homes. However, there's still some pets that need to be adopted.
Live from KSAT 12, the news at noon starts right now.
Most of us got a break from the rain today. However, soon those chances are ramping back up.
That's especially true tonight and on into the weekend. Justin Horn joining us now. So, Justin, what kind of rain totals could some folks be seeing in our area over the next day and a half or so?
Looking on average 2 to 4 inches in some cases, maybe a little bit more, and there could be a little bit of flooding. So that's something we're going to watch for tonight into tomorrow. Let's go right to the radar, show you where the showers and storms are right now. We see them south of San Antonio around Floresville. Some pretty good rain coming down. There was a flood advisory earlier that has since been discontinued. But as you look into Wilson County, that's where you see some of the heavier rain moving into Poth. Towards Floresville, where you see some of those white lines, that represents lightning strikes. So this is electrical. Stockdale, you're getting in on some good rain right now, and this is getting very close to Elmendorf. These showers and storms will move in. They're not severe. This is just good rain for the most part. Again, there could be a few rumbles of thunder mixed in there as everything's kind of working north and a little bit to the north and east. This may eventually work its way up towards Seguin, eastern parts of San Antonio. We'll watch for that. Otherwise, we're expecting to see more coverage as we get later in today of showers and storms. Here's the bigger picture of the setup. We've got a lot working for us here. We've got a frontal boundary, a stationary boundary more or less over our area. We've got an upper level low off to the west. Moisture streaming in. And so this is a pretty good setup for rain as we see some of these disturbances work through. So for that reason, there is a flash flood watch in effect. San Antonio, Pleasanton, New Braunfels, and points off to the south and east. This goes through 7 p.m. tomorrow. 2 to 4 inches of rain, again, some isolated spots up to 6 inches. And looking at the forecast for today, 40% chance of rain, but those numbers start to go up tonight. 70% chance overnight, up to an 80% chance by tomorrow morning. We're going to take a closer look at that forecast for you coming up in just a few minutes. Guys.
Thank you, Justin. Plenty of people already have cast their ballot in this spring election, even breaking a record. And tomorrow, it's election day, so even more voters are going to hit the polls. The ballot includes the race for mayor, 10 city council seats, and 2 propositions. If you need some help making it to the polls tomorrow, VIA is going to be offering free rides to polling locations. It's part of their Ride VIA to Vote initiative. All you have to do is present a valid voter registration card, and then you'll be dropped off at the nearest polling location. And once all the votes are cast, we're going to bring you the results right here on KSAT 12. Our election night coverage begins at 7. We'll have live streaming hosted by Steve Spriester.
Getting a COVID vaccine has just gotten a bit less painful. The city of San Antonio now offering them without the pain of needing an appointment. Katrina Weber was at the Alamodome this morning as people began taking advantage of that offer.
The words "first come, first served" had people lining up in cars at the Alamodome for a shot at it, being among the first to get their COVID vaccines without an appointment. The city of San Antonio began offering them this morning with no reservations needed.
It's hard on some people who don't have computers and stuff like that. And then I tried calling before and I did over 400 calls and I could never get through.
Roberto Lerma had been waiting for months for this chance to roll up his sleeve. Others also were glad that instead of going online, they could just get in line.
I want to do it. I got him to do it, so we did it together. So we're ready.
Dora Garcia and her 20-year-old son were here for round 2. People as young as 16 are eligible for the vaccines.
I think it's great. I think as soon as everyone gets vaccinated, we can try to get back to our normal routines.
Even though Josette Taylor had previously made an appointment, she didn't mind waiting along with others who didn't. Still, the crowd size came as a surprise.
I wasn't expecting all of this.
While there's no longer any waiting for an appointment, people here tell me they figured waiting in line might be unavoidable. Still, they say it's worth it for what this vaccine helps them avoid.
It is worth it. And then, and other people that are having trouble scheduling, they can just show up now.
They can show up and roll up their sleeves, but only Tuesdays through Saturdays. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
And you do have some more chances to get your vaccine. The site at St. Philip's College is going to be receiving some more doses. The college is set to receive doses on May 17th, but it's already taking appointments. You can schedule yours at wecandoitsa.com. The clinic open weekdays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Walk-ins are welcome from 3 to 5.
And just like health officials are making it easier for folks to get vaccinated in our community, we're seeing similar efforts across the U.S.
We're also seeing cases decline in more than half the country. As ABC's Elizabeth Schultze reports, these are optimistic signs that the U.S. is reaching a turning point in the battle against the coronavirus pandemic.
Welcome good news in the nation's efforts to defeat the coronavirus pandemic, with 26 states now reporting a decline in new COVID-19 cases.
I think we can confidently say the worst is behind us, barring some crazy unforeseen variant.
In hard-hit Michigan, infections are dropping. In California, Disneyland, owned by ABC's parent company Disney, is opening its gates to a limited number of visitors after more than a year. And New York City, once the epicenter of the pandemic, will open at 100% capacity by July 1st, including bars, restaurants, stores, and stadiums, though Broadway will wait until September.
This is going to be the summer of New York City.
But in other parts of the country, like the Pacific Northwest, COVID infections and hospitalizations are on the rise, especially among younger people who have yet to be vaccinated.
We're starting to see more and more people who are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s needing hospital care.
The CDC reports 30% of the U.S. is now fully vaccinated, and Dr. Anthony Fauci says he's hopeful all children could be vaccinated by the end of this year or early 2022. Audrey Baker is a 14-year-old participating in Pfizer's clinical trial. Any day now, the FDA is expected to expand authorization for use of the vaccine to include 12 to 15-year-olds.
That would be a step forward into defeating this pandemic, because then we can slowly move on to the younger kids that are younger than teens.
Government data out today shows American consumers are also optimistic about the economic rebound. With those $1,400 stimulus checks in hand, consumer spending surged and personal incomes hit a new monthly record. Elizabeth Schultze, ABC News, Washington.
They are the perfect pandemic partner, but some are still searching for their forever home. Some local animal shelters have seen a big jump in the adoptions over last year, and they hope the trend will continue as today marks National Adoption a Shelter Pet Day. Stephen Cavazos explains why adoption is crucial for our shelters and for our furry friends.
It's the year of the dog.
Hi, kitty. Hi, kitty girl.
Or maybe the cat. Either way, pets have played a big role in getting people through some rough times.
It's like they can sense that second chance, so when they go home, they just shower you with love and unconditional support.
Lucia Almanza is with the San Antonio Humane Society. She tells us the shelter closed its doors for a short time at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. But after reopening, the number of adoptions went up.
We saw many cases of many animals who got their second chances, and just giving that family that endless joy and unconditional love during these difficult times.
It wasn't just the Humane Society. The Animal Defense League of Texas also saw a 20% increase in adoptions and a 20% increase in fostering. Both shelters believe the pandemic may have been a factor.
We saw the support and the need in the community to add to their families with a new furry friend.
But as people ease back into their regular life away from their four-legged friends, Almanza reminds them separation anxiety can set in. But there are ways to avoid that. She suggests daily morning walks or enrichment activities to make the time you do spend with your pet more meaningful.
They can get a little more anxious if you're not at home, but there's definitely different activities you can do for them.
Almanza says adoptions create more space at shelters and help with their lifelong mission.
Improving and protecting the lives of dogs and cats here in San Antonio.
And the San Antonio Humane Society is open 7 days a week from noon to 7. All you really need is your government ID, proof of residency, and of course, always good to have your mask handy. And to find out more how you can take home a furry friend like Zoya, you can visit our website at KSAT.com. Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
New at noon, beginning next school year, and high school students in the Northeast ISD will no longer be required to have clear backpacks. NEISD Superintendent Dr. Sean Micah making that recommendation and that announcement in a message to parents this morning. The district implemented the clear backpack policy back in 2018, requiring the clear backpacks. But Micah said that safety and security measures have since improved.
Clear backpacks were never meant to be the single solution to school safety, but one part of an overall strategy. As a parent myself, I understand that clear backpacks weren't as durable as anticipated.
Micah says enhancements like a camera system to buzz in visitors and secure entry vestibules are now in place at most campuses. He did add that the clear bag policy will remain in place for events.
Still to come this half hour, as expected, the Cowboys took a defensive player with their first-round draft pick, not the one they had targeted, though, and they did make a move to get the guy they got. Larry Ramirez with a look at their pick coming up in sports.
A local hospital celebrating a veteran's recovery, how they honored him in a patriotic way after the break. This week, the halls of Methodist Hospital Metropolitan Rehab Therapy Department filled with red, white, and blue to honor and celebrate a special patient. Mr. Johnny Hubert suffered a serious injury, but after weeks of intense rehab, the World War II and Korean War veteran finally headed home. Alicia Barrera with more on the impact the war veteran left on the staff and the touching surprise they planned for him.
Mr. Johnny Hubert is 100 years old, but he's described as independent, sharp as a tack, and full of life. But unfortunately, about a few weeks ago, Mr. Hubert fell in his garage and broke his hip. He ended up at Methodist Hospital Metropolitan. That's Mr. Hubert there on your screen. He was a first sergeant in the Army, and his grandson, Chris Dawkins, tells me his grandpa is used to telling people what to do even when he fell. He wanted to be taken to Methodist Hospital Metropolitan because of the good treatment he has received in the past. The Army war veteran says it was no different this time around in rehab. He completed 3 hours of therapy a day for 2 weeks and is showing improvement, which is why he's being transferred to home care. On his last day this week, the rehab department surprised him with a very patriotic celebration, including American flag sugar cookies, a challenge coin presented by the CEO, and much more. The final surprise, a touching send-off with team members lining the halls as Mr. Johnny Hubert was wheeled out of the building.
And number two, because he was mostly independent, and we wanted to get him back there. We didn't want the hip fracture to be a limiting factor for him. We wanted him to have a full of a life as possible after leaving us. And the third reason was he's a World War II veteran. He's given himself to us as a country, and we wanted to give back to him as well.
Did all those things, the cookies laid out, the flags laid out, and everybody have a little flag going around and everything. I never have been entertained like that in my life, you know. When I came back from overseas, the second time, I think I kissed the ground.
Such a touching moment for Mr. Hubert and all the staff at Methodist Hospital Metropolitan. He's still on the road to recovery, but the good news is that he's home. And I did ask his grandson, Chris Dawkins, what his grandfather needed to get better. His answer on our full story on KSAT.com. Reporting Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
Wish him the best. Outside with live cam. A lot of people having a chance to dry out a little bit today before the rains come again. However, snuck a peek at your radar over there. There's a lot of yellow out there to the east.
There is some rain out there, and we've got some light drizzle rain, it looks like, coming down here in San Antonio. So things are still going to be damp, where we're going to have some pretty decent chances of rain coming up. And the aquifer has been responding in a big way. And of course, it's not working. But I'll tell you that it's up over a foot today. Close to 6 feet now since Monday. So it's really risen a lot. And then the pollen count's just mold, but it's high, around 4,000 mark or so. So that's all we have to contend with today as far as allergens go. We're going to talk about rain chances and those storms on the radar coming up.
We wanted to look outside with live cam, but all we saw was basically fog out there. Yeah, real humid.
He said like drizzling stuff, and
yeah,
bring the umbrella inside. So
might as well.
This could be a quick run to the truck.
We're going to have one of those stretches, guys, where it's going to be fairly damp outside. But listen, we need the rain. I know it may interrupt some plans tomorrow, so that's the other issue. But the good news is that by the time we get into Sunday, it clears up. We're going to get the sun back. Let's look at the radar, show you where everything is right now. We had some good heavy rain over the coastal counties a little bit earlier. That has dissipated at least a little bit. Still some showers and storms around Victoria. And then we've got another cluster here in Wilson County. It just moved through Floresville, dropped some good rain there. And it's tracking off to the north and northeast. We'll zoom in a little bit closer here to this activity. Not a lot of lightning strikes with it, but there could be a few rumbles of thunder with this little cluster as it moves through. We certainly saw some lightning there around Floresville and Poth. And this is going to work its way up towards Seguin, probably here within the next 30 minutes, hour or so. It is missing San Antonio, but if you're out on 1604 there on the east side, you may still be getting a little bit of rain. And we mentioned there's a little bit of drizzle in some spots here in town. What I'm going to do here is turn on the rainfall rate so we can see how much rain this thing is putting down. It gives us a good idea of how healthy those rainfall totals will be. And where you see some of these green colors, that represents some of the heavier rains, so about 1.3 inches per hour there. It's not going to rain for a full hour, so you're not going to get that much rain, but I'd say a half an inch is possible with this little cluster as it moves off to the north. And again, places like Seguin, maybe Gonzales, and Gonzales already got some good rain earlier. Could get a little bit more here within the next hour or so. Here in San Antonio, it looks like we'll have to wait a little bit longer, but showers and storms are in the forecast. Here's a look at the big picture. And we have a stationary boundary that stretches across our area, so that's one of the ingredients we need. We have an upper level low off to the west that gives us the lift and plenty of moisture. If you've been outside, you can feel it. It's a lot of cloud cover, and we're starting to see more showers developing off to the west. That energy moves into San Antonio, likely tonight into tomorrow morning. I think that's a window where we could get some good heavy rain here. 2 to 4 inches inside where we see this watch box. This is a flash flood watch. Goes until 7 p.m. tomorrow. There could be some isolated spots where we see even more rain. And this is just one area that we're going to watch. But I think really across South Texas, there's potential for some pretty decent rain here. Victoria, 5 inches. Somewhere in that range, 2 to 4 around San Antonio, 1 to 2 out west. So these are good numbers, and this is just going to push the aquifer even higher. I mentioned some of that drizzle. That's what we're looking at here at the airport live cam. 70 degrees with a little bit of rain coming down. Northerly winds at about 9 miles per hour, and it's still pretty cool out there. 64 Bernie Stage, 71 in Helotes, 69 Canyon Lake, 73 right now in New Braunfels, and 76 down there in Cotulla. Temperatures are not going to warm up all that much today. We'll keep in chances of rain, and we'll bring the rain chances up as we go into tonight. And looking at the forecast, showers and a few storms. This is around 5 o'clock. Fast forward to midnight, 1 a.m., more showers, more storms. 7 a.m. tomorrow, same story. We could get some storms coming in out of the west tomorrow afternoon. That's another time frame we're going to have to watch. There could be a few strong storms mixed in there. We're not looking for widespread severe weather, but 1 or 2 strong storms can't be ruled out. And then by Sunday morning, we finally clear out, and Sunday we'll see a lot more sun and warmer temperatures. So the 7-day forecast shows 40% today, 80% widespread tonight, tomorrow morning, even into the early afternoon, and then clearing out Sunday, 88. Another slight chance of rain shows up on Tuesday with a high of 86. Guys.
Thank you, Justin.
All right, with Derek White out, at least it gives an opportunity for some of the younger guys to get more playing time, like Devin Vassell.
Devin Vassell, yeah, and he's going to start with the other 4 guys right now. That's Pop's plan anyway, and Devin Vassell is certainly putting up good numbers for a rookie, and he says he's just got to keep his emotions under control. And Texans general manager Nick Caserio says it's really no big deal waiting to draft until the 3rd round. Coming up.
The 2021 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Micah Parsons, linebacker, Penn State, yes!
An Army veteran and Dallas area social worker announced the Cowboys' first-round draft pick last night, linebacker Micah Parsons, and Big Board Sports. Spurs will wrap up their 4-game road trip tonight at the Boston Celtics. And now that Derek White is out of action, rookie guard Devin Vassell will get a lot of playing time, and it appears that he will start so Lonnie can come off the bench. So what's one key lesson the rook Vassell has picked up this season?
I think every game is unique. You can't get too high, you can't get too low. I think that's the biggest advice that even coming into this year that I got. But, there will be games where you might go 0 for 20. And then you come back and go 7 for 7. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't sit there and get hung up over how you played or how you played last game or what happened that quarter, what happened that half. Like, there's so many games. There's so many opportunities. Like, you just got to go on to the next. That's it.
Spurs and Celtics will go down tonight at 6:30. Derek White is out again. Highlights on the Night Beat.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
Last night, the Dallas Cowboys were hoping to draft one of the top cornerbacks in the 2021 NFL Draft, but J.C. Horn and Patrick Surtain were picked 8th and 9th. So the Cowboys traded down with the Eagles to get a 2021 third-round pick in return. And with the 12th overall selection, the boys drafted Penn State linebacker Micah Parsons, and he was handing out hugs on the big stage in Cleveland, Ohio. The young man from linebacker U is ready to line up with the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm super excited. I got a mastermind head coach, Dan Quinn, defense coordinator Dan Quinn. Great person I can learn from. I got great linebackers there I can lean on. So I'm going to be in a competitive environment, and I'm going to have to earn mine. So I'm super excited to get there and add on to the tradition of great linebackers that come through the Cowboys.
Cowboys star running back Ezekiel Elliott tweeted at Parsons jokingly saying, "Don't touch me in practice, Rook." Parsons responded with, "We'll see." Dallas will have 4 draft choices today, with 1 in the 2nd round and 3 in the 3rd round. Houston Texans will have to wait until round 3 tonight to make their first pick with the 67th overall selection. They could, of course, move up or down. Texans general manager Nick Caserio said it's not difficult at all to not be picking until the 3rd round.
Quite frankly, not difficult at all. I mean, we've had experience. If I've had experience, I mean, we haven't had 1st and 2nd round picks before. That was the case in New England. I think one year we were picking like 70th or something like that. We didn't have a 1st or 2nd round pick. We ended up picking 4 players. So again, I think the most important thing is to evaluate the players, have an understanding of the board top to bottom, and whatever opportunity you have to pick, whenever that is, just be ready to pick the player that you feel most comfortable with.
Yeah, they have a lot of needs too, let me tell you.
All over the board. I like how he tries to justify this being late in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Well, we won in New England.
Exactly.
No, it's
Yeah,
good.
it's different.
No, really.
It's all right.
Gossiping with friends may seem like a vapid pastime, but it could be good for your health, actually. Details on the research that claims gossip is a rich and multifaceted form of communication.
After being convicted in the death of George Floyd, Derek Chauvin could face even more legal troubles, this time from the Department of Justice. Details also ahead.
New today at 5, free money? Who couldn't use a little extra? Well, if you bought Post Raisin Bran or Honey Bunches of Oats or Maxwell House ground coffee in recent years, you might be eligible to claim some cash. It's the result of a big class action lawsuit, some settlements. 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz is going to have details today at 5 after Entertainment Tonight. Derek Chauvin and 3 other former police officers will soon be facing federal civil rights violations. That is according to Minneapolis officials. Based on local reports, the Department of Justice intends to prosecute all 4 officers in connection with George Floyd's death. Chauvin is scheduled to be sentenced in June for 2nd-degree unintentional murder, 3rd-degree murder, and 2nd-degree manslaughter. The other 3 former Minneapolis police officers are facing trial in August for aiding and abetting 2nd-degree murder in George Floyd's death.
Back outside with live cam. Some raindrops on the camera right now. We're expecting a whole lot more as the weekend gets closer.
A little rain coming down right now. You can see that there, as you just mentioned, David. And we've got a little bit of rain here at the studios downtown. So there's some light rain moving through San Antonio. The heavier stuff is still off to the south and east. Want to show you the pollen count since we missed it earlier. Mold is high. It's at 2,400, but it's all we have. So rain washed all the tree pollen out of the air, thank goodness. But of course, the other side to that is you get mold numbers that are a little higher. There's the live radar, and you can see the cluster of showers that have been moving just east of San Antonio. So now moving a little bit closer to Seguin. You're about to get some of that rain. A few lightning strikes mixed in there too, western parts of Gonzales County. And Floresville, Poth, you've gotten some rain within the last hour. Here in San Antonio, there are going to be some wet roads, though. As I mentioned, some of that drizzle, a little bit of fog trying to develop, too, just based on what we're seeing observation-wise. But upper level low off to the west. Good setup for us for rain. We're expecting more of it as we get into tonight, into tomorrow. It's going to be a sort of a wet next 12 to 24 hours. And looking at the flash flood watch, this has been issued. It goes until 7 p.m. Saturday, 2 to 4 inches, some isolated amounts up to 6 inches. Does include San Antonio, so we'll keep a close eye on rainfall. But hopefully we just get some good rain out of it, and that'll be the end of it. 73 degrees tomorrow, some heavy rain at times, especially I think for the first half of the day, and then breezy and warmer as we get into Sunday, a high of 88. Probably the better day as we look at the weekend if you have plans outdoors, guys.
Thank you, Justin.
Coming up, Pfizer and BioNTech have submitted a request for European Union drug regulators to extend the approval of the company's coronavirus vaccine to include children 12 to 15 years old. The two companies said their study in more than 2,000 adolescents showed the vaccine to be safe and effective. The children will continue to be monitored for long-term protection and safety for 2 more years. BioNTech and Pfizer previously had requested their emergency use authorization with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration also be extended to children 12 to 15.
Meantime, people with diabetes are more likely to get severely ill from COVID-19, and they are being recommended to get the vaccine urgently. ABC's Ike Jachi tells us more in today's Medical Minute.
COVID-19 has torn across the United States, affecting people from all parts of life. But new research from the CDC states that diabetics may be at a particularly high risk of complications. The CDC statement explained that diabetics infected with the virus are more likely to require hospitalization, be admitted to the ICU, require life support, or even die. When diabetics get sick, their eating and drinking habits change, making blood sugar harder to manage. Even in those who don't require hospital admission, it's important to check blood sugars more often and watch out for signs of diabetic ketoacidosis, a life-threatening condition when the blood sugar goes too high. So what can we do to prevent this? Get vaccinated. While it's important for everyone to get the vaccine as soon as it becomes available, it's especially important for people suffering with diabetes in order to prevent these complications. This includes type 1, type 2, and gestational diabetes. With this Medical Minute, I'm Ike Jachi.
Turning now to college admissions, the spring 2021 semester saw the steepest decline in undergrad enrollment since March of 2020. That's according to data from the National Student Clearinghouse Research Center. Overall enrollment for the spring semester was down 5.9% compared with a year ago. Meantime, community colleges saw an 11.3% drop. But when it comes to graduate enrollment, that grew 4.4% for the spring semester.
Okay, in case you didn't hear, researchers at Dartmouth College have a secret to share with you. And despite its negative reputation, that study finds gossip is actually a really good thing. Researchers say that gossip isn't just about passing rumors and saying bad things about other people. It's actually serving to create social connections and even helps people learn new things. Researchers add that it can also include small talk in person or online. So why do we love to gossip? Experts say it's a rich and multifaceted communication with many functions within social groups. The study showed people can bond over gossip by creating a shared reality by exchanging information.
It requires a great deal of athleticism and control. It's very dangerous. Give me one chance.
An actor known for his role in the hit TV show Breaking Bad says his character in the latest project is not afraid of a challenge. A preview of the movie Triumph after the break.
And the first pick of the 2020 NFL Draft, really no surprise. Larry Ramirez on how excited Trevor Lawrence is to be heading to Florida to play ball. R.J. Mitty became known to millions with his role on TV's Breaking Bad as viewers saw a character and an actor deal with cerebral palsy.
Now, Mitty's big screen drama inspired by a true story is coming out. CNN's David Daniel talked with him about Triumph.
biology, English, weightlifting. You know that you can be exempt from PE courses. Cerebral palsy, right?
I like a challenge every now and then.
Triumph stars R.J. Mitt as Mike, a high school senior determined to make the wrestling team. The coach, played by Terrence Howard, isn't so sure.
It requires a great deal of athleticism and control. It's very dangerous.
Give me one chance.
That meant a lot of hard work for Mitt.
I'm a big believer in the devil's in the details. And so with this movie, we really tried to capture it the best we could. You know, I'm not a professional wrestler.
Dad, I just want to show everybody that I can do this. No! You're not a wrestler.
It's a very common theme of this type of individual that wants to grow. But society is saying you can't because you're sick. And to me, that's something that I've seen in my own life. But I was one of those people that I never took that as an end-all, be-all result. It's like if I wanted to achieve something, I may have not been able to do it in that moment. But I'm a firm believer can't is a decision. And if you want to achieve something, find that wholeheartedly and never stop until you achieve your goal. And Mike definitely has that same mentality.
Mike does not see his disability as a hindrance. He's stronger because of it.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Looks like a good one.
It looks like a lot of rain coming.
Ooh,
Well, is that still drop Sunday?
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Did I or did I not see the sun for a second this morning?
You did, yeah. The sun popped out for a couple minutes, and it's possible we can see a little bit more of it today. It's just not much. It wasn't enough to really warm up temperatures either. 70 degrees right now at the airport. That's our high temperature. 66 was the low this morning. We'll be below average today. The record's 96, set back in 1940. We'll be way below that. That's good news. Rain is starting to move in. We'll have some showers off and on, especially as we get into tonight. Another look at the radar coming up. Welcome back. Let's take a look at the radar. We have some showers and storms, especially off to the east of San Antonio right now. But we were looking at live cam earlier, and there is still some light rain trying to track through the city. We picked up on some of that. We had to turn the radar up a little bit, but that's just some drizzle coming through. Most of that's going to be really light, but you might have to use your windshield wipers there, especially on the north side of San Antonio. More significant rain down here in Wilson County right now. This is tracking off to the north and east. Seeing some pockets of heavier rain, some lightning strikes mixed in there too. And this is working north towards the Seguin area. So let's zoom in a little bit closer at this activity. And yeah, right over Seguin, starting to get some of that more moderate, maybe heavy rain. It's just going to pass over I-10 there. And Stockdale, you got some rain earlier. This will work its way eventually up towards Luling. And San Antonio is just missing out on some of the more moderate rain. But 1604 on the east side, you may get a few raindrops out of this as well. If you're not getting rain yet, don't worry. There are still more chances down the line, especially as we get into tonight and into tomorrow morning. But that's the most significant rain we have on the radar at this hour. Let's take a look at the time lapse. You can see some of that rain coming in. Just cloudy this morning, but right about there, saw the rain come through, and it was pretty light. 70 degrees at the airport. Dew point is at 66. Northerly winds at about 9 miles per hour. And I mentioned there was a little bit of visibility or lowering of visibility here around San Antonio. Down about 1.25 miles at Port SA, 3 miles at the airport. And that's some of that drizzle and lower cloud ceilings coming through there. The rest of the area doing just fine. 67 Kerrville, 73 in New Braunfels, 69 Gonzales, 72 Carrizo Springs. And here's a look at the water vapor, and this really tells the story. We have an upper level low off to the west, and it's not moving. It's just sort of sitting there over Mexico. And that energy is rising up through South Texas and giving lift to some showers. And as this gets a little bit closer, we'll continue to see more of the activity building. And for that reason, too, we have a flash flood watch in effect. This goes through 7 p.m. tomorrow. 2 to 4 inches of rain, some isolated spots up to 6 inches within that watch area. San Antonio is sort of on the edge of that, but it's possible we could get some good heavy rain next couple days. So we'll keep an eye on the flooding scenario. Hopefully, it's just good soaking rain and we don't have flood issues. But 2 to 4 inches will be possible, additional rainfall through Sunday morning. 5 inches off to the east, 1 to 2 inches to the west. Forecast calls for about a 40% chance of rain today, but we'll see those rain chances step up as we get into tonight, 70% by 10 p.m. And the forecast shows around 5 o'clock, seeing more showers and more storms. Same story around midnight, 1 a.m., some decent rain coming through. And then 7 o'clock, same story, still some showers, and we're going to find some pockets of heavier rain. We're going to have to watch for a few thunderstorms out west tomorrow. There is the threat that a couple of them could be strong. It's not going to be widespread severe weather like what we saw a couple nights ago, but this could bring some heavy rain with it. This is 5 p.m. tomorrow. And then by Sunday morning, this is all moving out. That upper level low gets out of here, and we clear out. Sunday should be a nice day, just a little bit warm. We'll go 73 tomorrow, 80% chance of rain, especially first half of the day, and then 88 Sunday, 94 Monday, 20% chance of rain Tuesday, and we're back in the 80s by the middle part of next week, guys.
It'll be nice to see the sun, but it's going to be awfully muddy on Sunday.
That's true, yes.
Cowboys did what they needed to do yesterday. They didn't get the guy that they wanted, but they ended up with some defensive players.
A really good linebacker, Micah Parsons. And I'll tell you what, Micah Parsons is already putting the NFC East on notice. He is ready to team up with Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch. Plus, playing center field on the road can certainly be a painful experience. Coming up.
My parents was a Cowboys fan, and all last year I said I was going to Dallas. Like, if God's not real, I don't know what is. Like, this is so unreal. It's crazy.
Cowboys rookie linebacker Micah Parsons had his NFL dream come true last night, and his entire entourage was jumping for joy in Big Board Sports.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
The Jacksonville Jaguars got their guy, selecting Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence with the #1 overall pick in the draft last night. He followed Deshaun Watson at Clemson and won a national title as a freshman, and he's certainly a winner, only losing 4 games as a starting quarterback since he entered high school. Now he's ready to join head coach Urban Meyer and the Jaguars, who went 1-15 last season.
My mindset, well, first of all, Coach Meyer got a great feel from just talking to him on the phone, and obviously I'm excited to get down there and be in person with the guys and the coaches and all that. But I think the biggest thing is that he's a winner. You've seen he's done that his whole career, so I'm really excited to be a part of that. And then number 2, like you said, about just adjusting and adapting. I think that's something I do well, just because I want to earn the respect of everyone around me, the teammates, coaches. I'm not expecting for anyone to hand me anything. I want to come in there and earn the respect and the right to lead the team. So that's what I'm going to do, and just put the work in, like I said.
As for the Dallas Cowboys, they traded down from 10th to 12th with the Philadelphia Eagles, and with that choice, the boys grabbed linebacker Micah Parsons. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said Parsons was the highest-ranked defensive player on their draft board. Parsons is ready to team up with linebacker Jalen Smith.
Yo, I got text from last year when he hit me up after the Cowboys, like, man, you a dog. I said, tell them Cowboys I'm trying to come play next to you. So I already know what type of competitor he is. So, him mixed in with me, I feel like it could be very dangerous for this NFC.
Dallas has 4 choices today, with 1 in the second round, number 44 overall, and 3 in the third round, numbers 75, 84, and 99. The UTSA football program's spring game has been moved to 9:30 a.m. Sunday, May 2nd due to the inclement weather forecast for Saturday morning. The spring game will be closed to the public due to a limited capacity at the practice facility, along with COVID-19 protocols currently in place. Time to play ball. Seattle at Houston last night. Top of the third, Taylor Trammell hits a solo home run to right field off Luis Garcia for the only run of the game. Chas McCormick almost robs him of that one just over his glove. Houston was no hit into the 7th inning, and the Mariners take this one 1-0. Boston at Texas. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa drives the pitch to straightaway center. Red Sox Kike Hernandez crashes into the walls. The ball sails over the fence for a solo shot. Hernandez, unaware of his surroundings on the road, smacks into the wall in center field. He was going all out for sure, and thank goodness for the padded wall. The Rangers get the dub 4-1. Yeah, he's okay.
That's why they have a warning track.
Yes.
That means warning.
Yes.
Wall.
You feel that?
Coming.
Wall's here.
Poor guy.
Thanks, Larry. Disney on Ice is in town. Wow.
So naturally,
Yep.
SA Live has Disney on their mind. Yeah.
Yes, we do. And yes, the Disney on Ice is at the Alamo Dome this weekend. And of course, a bunch of iconic and beloved characters will be on the ice. So,
right. You know, we all have our favorites, but what about the villains? Who are your favorite Disney villains?
Of course, Ursula. From The Little Mermaid.
Yes. David?
Cruella de Vil.
I like her hair.
Yeah. That's true. How about you?
I would have to say the witch from Sleeping Beauty.
Ah, yes, that is a classic. And Ursula. We'll take it from here, from The Little Mermaid. You stole my line, Ursula. Anyway, all right. Mother's Day, of course, is a week from Sunday.
And if you are looking for one-of-a-kind, unique gifts, well, you want to support local. And here to share some of those great ideas is Stephanie Pena-Frost.
Hello, good morning, afternoon.
Something spangly and pretty.
What mother doesn't love jewelry? If you ask your mom, what does she want for Mother's Day? She's going to say, I want jewelry. Why not? So we have some really great little items that came from local farmers markets. They're all handmade, all local. They're just beautiful, from the resin and the dried flowers to the beautiful necklace and the bright, vibrant colored semi-precious stone jewelry.
And I'll tell you what, she has got so many items here, you're not going to have to go anywhere else to shop. All of these great local items. We're going to go through a bunch of them coming up.
Yes, and how about something sweet for that mom in your life? Look at those.
And you're not going to believe it, that those frames are chocolate. Yes, indeed. And they go on top of some wonderful treats that you can have customized for you. There is Fiona and her lovely mom, Leslie, and me and my mom from last week. And we're going to talk about Mom's Day.
And we get high above San Antonio with Alamo helicopter tours. Wait until you see the ride you can take.
It is amazing. You have to try. We're going to tell you how you can take this ride, maybe for Mother's Day, maybe for that special date. That and a whole lot more coming up on SA Live, so stick around.